Hello and welcome to the Kate Gourmet. My name is Jeremy and today we'll be making onigiri and miso soup. I'll show you 3 versions of onigiri. Let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to make 3 types of onigiri. One is the basic Tuna Mayo, which is just tuna and mayo mixed together. So it's like a tuna fish sandwich in the form of a rice ball. It's really good. And then I'll make 2 other versions. One is going to be Okaka, which is using some Bonito flakes. We're going to stew these down in soy sauce, sake, and mirin, and a little sesame seed. A really sweet and salty filling for the second onigiri. And then for the last onigiri, we will use some umeboshi. These are pickled plums, a little bit sour, but it goes really nice in a rice ball. So we'll first start by making the filling for Okaka, which will stew some Bonito flakes. It'll be 2 parts soy sauce to 1 part sake and another 1 part mirin. Mirin is a sweet rice wine, but this combination of soy sauce, sake, and mirin is the classic tare sauce, and that's the basis of teriyaki sauce. So what you would commonly refer to as teriyaki sauce is generally these 3 ingredients plus a little sugar. So just add a teaspoon and a half of sugar, and let's heat it up quite quickly. I'll add the Bonito flakes. So stir that in, make sure everything's coated, and we're gonna stew the Bonito flakes in until everything gets caramelized and a little bit sticky. So let's caramelize that on a low heat. You don't want to burn it, so make sure it's moving. So that's caramelizing quite nicely. Let's keep an eye on that. And while that's caramelizing, let's prepare Tuna Mayo. And as the name implies, it's tuna and a bit of mayonnaise. We're gonna also add just a little bit of soy sauce as well. Drain your can of tuna. And we'll add about a teaspoon of soy sauce. You can skip adding the soy sauce. It helps keep it moist rather than just adding the mayo, which it can still dry out if you leave it too long. So a little soy sauce will help. And then the mayo, if you have Japanese mayo like this left over from okonomiyaki, this is another great use for it. So we will be using quite a bit of mayo. I mean, this is a hearty little lunch, a little snack. You'd be eating this at the top of a mountain after a hike, so you need to have that energy. Plus, it's just delicious. And Okaka is almost done. We'll just add some sesame seeds too. Give that another mix. That is looking great. Okay, get back to stirring my tuna mayo. Okay, tuna mayo's done, Okaka is done. We'll take that off the heat and set it aside. Okay, finished preparing our filling for our onigiri, our 3 fillings. So tuna mayo, Okaka, and some umeboshi. We didn't have to do anything to that. You may get umeboshi with a pit in it. Just make sure to take the pit out before you put it inside the onigiri. So that is our first step. We're going to use rice that I've already pre-steamed to make our rice balls. At the same time of that, I'll also get my miso soup started. So to make miso soup, it's very easy. It's a very basic soup. You will need miso, of course. In this case, this is red miso paste, but you can also use white, which is very smooth and I think a little more refined, but red will do just fine. Some wakame, this is seaweed, dried seaweed. This will rehydrate and expand once in the water. Dashi, we've used this in quite a few recipes so far. Using dashi like this is the basis for miso soup. Tofu, silky tofu in this case. and then some green onions. You can use about a liter of water and add your dashi to that. Give that a stir. I'll also add just a little bit of soy sauce and sake. Green onions, so just chop off the ends, just cut into small pieces like this. We'll use the white part of the onions now to help give it a little flavor, and then the green parts as a topping later on. And we'll let that come to a simmer. Okay, so the miso, we won't just dump it in because it will probably just clump and not mix in very well. So to incorporate the miso into the miso soup, take a little ladleful of that dashi that we just made and pour it in to a bowl like that, and mix it in to the dashi until it's all smooth and incorporated. You could also just do this in the ladle itself, but I think it'll be a little easier if you use a separate bowl to do it. And once it liquefies, you can pour a little back into the soup, give it a stir, pour it back in, a little more dashi, stir it again, and then once all incorporated, back into the soup. Okay, now that the miso is in our miso soup, we'll add our wakame. With tofu like this, we don't want it to break apart by picking it up again. So what the Japanese actually do is cut it on their hand. So cut it lengthwise and then cut it like this. And then drop your tofu in. And that's our miso soup. Let's make our onigiri. We will be using our hands to form the onigiri, so make sure your hands are washed. We'll be using nori. We're gonna break this into thirds, just like arts and crafts. We'll fold this into thirds and tear along the edge. And break your nori into pieces like this. There is a shiny side and a dull side. The shiny side will go on the outside. Okay, so here we are. Leftover rice. Make sure it's cool to the touch. Put a little water on your hands and salt your hands directly. Grab a little bit of rice. First one we'll do is the Tuna Mayo, the classic version, original version. Put a little dollop of that Tuna Mayo in between. And now we'll take this rice and close it up. Curve your hands like this and shape it with 3 even peaks so it forms a little triangle. Press it down, turn it, press it down, turn it, and press it down. Should have a nice triangle shape like that. Grab your nori, put it in the center, and then roll it up. Next, a little salt on the hands. For our second one, let's put in a little okaka, and we'll do the same thing again. Close it up, turn it, close it up, turn it, and once we have a nice triangle shape, wrap it up. If you line them all up like that, you might forget which filling is which. So for example, the okaka has sesame in it, so we can just sprinkle some sesame seeds on the outside so we know that one has the okaka inside. All right, and our last one, we'll do ume. Grab a little rice. Okay, so that's our ume in the center of this one. Turn that over, form our triangle. Okay, so that's our ume. Let's do a different wrap for this one. Instead of doing it around the onigiri, let's put it on like kind of like a jacket. So we'll take the onigiri and put it in the center and wrap it around like that. So it has like a little coat on during the winter. So we know this style of wrapping is our ume. The one with the sesame seeds is Okaka, and then just the regular one is Tuna Mayo. You could also close it up a little bit, and you can continue with the rice and continue making onigiri until there's no rice left. So our miso soup is also ready. As you can see, the wakame has rehydrated and gotten much bigger. Top the miso soup with a little green onion, and there we have it. Onigiri with miso soup. Okay, so let's try our onigiri. First, we'll start with the classic tuna mayo. Really delicious. Really good. Tuna is super tasty. Even if you just make one basic one, just the tuna mayo would be great. Let's try a little miso soup. Very tasty, very soothing. And let's try the okaka next. Little salty, little sweet, very delicious. And finally, the ume. Ume is so good. Nice sourness to it. So there it is, onigiri and miso soup. Give it a try. It's the perfect on-the-go food. So if you need something fun and unique for a picnic or a hike, give onigiri a try. Let me know in the comments below which filling you prefer. If you make any of the dishes that I've introduced, please tag me. I'd love to see what you've made. Give this video a like and subscribe for more Japanese home cooking videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.